Hi everyone and welcome for another Apitherapy video. This time we'll be talking about a topic that is really aiming towards inspiration, because we do need a lot of inspiration to be able to keep working in apitherapy and talk about it, learn about it, study it, work on it. It demands a lot, so we have to keep a really high inspiration. So myself, I do cultivate a strong inspiration in my own life. And just to give you an example, I will tell you this story. A while ago, there was a big windstorm, and the wind was blowing really strong, and some big trees just fell off in the forest right next to my home. And five of them, pretty big, between 70 to 80 years, each one of them, so big trees, fell, and they were really good trees. I mean, they were very healthy. So I thought, well, why not, out of those trees, build a cabin for bees? Because maybe you heard about beehive air therapy. We can actually breathe in beehive air, and that is there's not so much research yet on it, but it's a topic that is of high interest for me because I love apitherapy, I love bees, so I always wanted to have a specific place for this, just to try it myself. So I did it. I did a cabin with that wood, so it was kind of gifted by nature. I love, following a little bit what nature is proposing to us. That's very important when you work with bees and nature and agriculture, actually. That's what I did. So as I was designing the cabin, I found out that I would do it because, I was calculating the size of the cabin according to the wood that has been gifted. So according to what we received, let's say, I had a place to do 7 beehives in that cabin. So not very big, pretty small, but 7 beehives. And when I heard the number 7, for me, it rang a bell. And it made me think right away about the 7 chakras in the human body. And also, the 7 colors. And there's many different 7. So what we did, we actually painted every lotus, of the chakra of every lotus of every chakra of the human being on each one of the hives. So every hive would have its own chakra and then color associated with it. And inside the cabin, just to protect, when you go when I go in and breathe in my beehive air, I just put some curtains, and I actually choose 7 different curtains, each one of them of the right color of the chakra where it is, so it all corresponds and match together. And things adding up. A friend of mine wrote a book about the bee spirit, and I love that book. And another friend of mine, really good friend, actually did all the illustration in that book, and they are really pretty. So I thought, wow, I will just put them out there on the walls of the cabin, so it's really nice, very beautiful. And another friend of mine did some stained glass work in the cabin, so this is just getting beautiful, amazing. For me, it was getting like a small little temple of bees, and it's so beautiful that recently we went, my family, 4 of us, 5 of us actually, went for meditation in this small bees temple. And while we were there, in my meditation, I felt, wow, there's a connection with those beehives and my chakras. So that sounds a little bit weird for some of you maybe, but it's not something that I want to push too much. But it's just that, if you're a bit sensitive to who you are, and you understand the connection with the chakra and the action of a human being. I'll just give an example. For example, our throat chakra, a chakra of our speech, of our word, is actually really connected to our word. When we're talking, we're using that energy center of that chakra. And of course, we could say, oh, that thing of the chakra is invisible, doesn't exist, so why would you talk about this? I don't believe in that stuff. I understand. But if you think about it a little bit more, after a while, you get tired when you're speaking. And then you could say, oh, it's just the muscles are tired and so on, you get tensed and whatever else. But in reality, there is a certain energy for us to do everything. And then you'll say also, oh, it's that center, in your brain that is getting tired. You have to switch activity and then you'll be fine. Well, if you put all those things together and you give it some kind of reality, invisible reality, that gives you a little bit somehow a perspective of a chakra. And that's the idea. Now, if you believe in the chakra thing or not, it's your own story. But let's say that all this reality around the word, all we can do with our words, if we use sweet words, we can do a lot of good things. And if we use bad words, then we can do a lot of bad things. It's very obvious. So it gives you an idea of how we can use that energy, that strength of the words in our life. This is totally connected with this chakra of the throat. So now, if you visualize that in this chakra, there's a beehive. Now you have to be, you have to love bees. If you're scared by bees, you cannot imagine that. You'll think, oh, anaphylactic shock right away, especially if you're allergic and everything. But if you just see the bees not for their venom, but if you see the bees for who they really are, the action they do in nature, their role in pollination, how they are so key in biodiversity and maintaining the life forms that exist on this planet, if you see them for what they truly are, the fact that they live, they are always searching for flowers around, they live in a poetry world, because flowers smell good, they look good, they're pretty, they're beautiful, they're just inspiring. So they live in this reality. And so if you take them for what they really are, and not only that image of the venom, and then when you get scared, then you're able to imagine it. So if you imagine a hive in each one of your chakra, but let's stay focused with the throat one, because I'm talking right now, and let's visualize that. If you do this, you'll realize, oh, that starts to make a lot of sense, because the bees, they go out of the beehive, they go and pollinate the flowers, and then they bring back some food, nectar and pollen, and then they bring it back in the hive, and with that nectar they make honey, with the pollen they store it, they make bee bread, and then that food will allow them to grow. As they eat the honey, they are able to generate some wax from their glands on their abdomen. And so with that wax, they are actually building the hive. So they grow that hive. And with the pollen, they make the bee bread, and they feed the bee bread to the babies, the larvae of the bees. And then more bees, they grow even more. So with that food, they grow that space, that hive, let's say. And it's exactly like that with our words, for example. We say some words, there's an echo from those words. That echo could be other words from another person we're talking with, or could be just the feeling of that person, just the reaction of the person that reacts to what we said. And that is already something, and that echo is real, believe it or not, even if it's not necessarily visible, that echo comes back to us. And if we use good words, then that echo is just like nectar and pollen. And when it comes back to us, we can actually use this to build this chakra, this energy center. Someone that is saying a lot of good things will be able to say more and more and more and more and more. He will be growing his ability to speak, to give through his words. So it's exactly the same way. And that actually gives us a new vision of those chakras. Because chakras, many people, it's not clear what they are. Do I feel them? Do I not feel them? Is it physical? Is it etherical? Where is it exactly? And most people are not really clear about that notion of the chakra. Me included. I'm not claiming to be 100% clear on this. I have my own vision. It's evolving. So yeah, of course, I'm not there yet, and very few people could claim that they know really well what chakras are and they can explain everything. So for me, that's why I really like to connect um, bees, but also anything in nature to all the personal development, spirituality I work with. So that's my sharing today. And so the other point that beehive visualization bring is that there are actually some beings, some intelligence, many little intelligent cells, let's say, that are actually making that work of exchanging with others and bringing something back from that exchange. While they're exchanging, they pollinate, they bring up more life to others, and they bring back some type of food where they will use to grow. And the more they grow, the more they can share, the more they can pollinate, the more they can generate life. And that shows us how our chakras are, let's say, growing, how the light they shed is growing. The aura coming out of ourselves is connected with those chakras, and it's growing, and it's growing through the activity that we have with those chakras, and it sheds a lot of light on the use of those chakras, of those energy centers. And if you're not familiar with them, they are all along our vertebral column, and they work with almost everything we are as humans. Our third chakras is connected with our hands, with our sharing. Anyway, there's so much happening there. I don't want to describe it all because it's not the topic. I just want to make the connection with the bees. It's not a chakra course. I'm just saying that understanding the connection between a hive and a chakra is just amazing. I really do encourage you to visualize that. If you do some meditation, take a moment and try to see this. If you don't know the bees that well, maybe it won't be that efficient, but learn maybe a bit more again about bees, and you'll see that it's really, really efficient, because you'll now understand how your own action through those energy centers that are all in you as a column, all those actions, all those exchanges are actually made to yes, pollinate and give to others, but bring back a good reaction that will be just like food, that will help you to grow those chakras, make them healthy, make yourself healthy, and also make your connections to others healthy on all levels. It's extremely beautiful, and I'm telling you, for me, it created a huge change in my own understanding of the chakras and how they work, how real it is, because now I'm able to give a physical image on what is a chakra and how it works. Before, it was just, of course, there were some images, like the lotus and so on. There were some images, but that example of the hive is just amazing how much clarity it brings to that topic. So for me, this is really high inspiration, and I'm really glad to live this and share it, because everybody interested in apitherapy needs a lot of inspiration to keep going, keep working with this apitherapy and get people aware of it. We're all so clear on what the bees have to bring to us. We know that those products are so pure, so noble, so wonderful, and we have to prove everything with scientific study, and make things move forward, and that demands a lot. And to be able to do that much, we need a lot of inspiration, and for me that is a really important one. I just learned that myself through a meditation. I did this, I felt it, and then I amplified it in other meditations, and I just found that how strong it is and how important it is. So here I am sharing this new secret for you, this point of view. So I hope that is of interest for you. Another little idea with that connection with the chakras and the beehives. Very often in the wild, the bees will make their nest, their beehive, inside a hollow tree, and it's just like a big column, just like our vertebral column, and it's exactly like that. And they will fill it, the whole thing, with honey, pollen, babies, and it will just grow. It will be very alive. That hollow dead tree, it will become really strong and alive. And it's exactly like this with our chakras. It's showing us how that column of life that is able to exchange with all different plants, almost all of them, they don't go everywhere, but most plants will be visited by bees. And it's connected with that chakras tower, very alive. This is just wonderful images to nourish our inner life. So thank you very much for watching. We'll be talking more about beehive air therapy in other videos. This one is just about inspiration, just for us to, get more into it. And then we'll be more specific about how to use beehive air therapy. What can we do legally? Where are we at according to where we live, and so on. So don't jump into beehive air therapy right away. There's some few things you should know. At least go and take a lot of information. You cannot do that anywhere, and usually actually here in Canada you should do this only for yourself. You're absolutely not allowed to do treatments with this. So there's a lot to know behind this. I just wanted to share you that inspiration for now, and talk to you another time for another capsule. Thank you.